Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Lori, and welcome to Universally Unique, exploring the neurodiverse world of the extraordinary. This podcast fosters curiosity and understanding about neurodiversity while empowering individuals with tools for acceptance and inclusion in classrooms, the workplace, and communities. Featuring shared stories of neurodiverse life experiences, it sheds light on navigating a world not designed for diversity. Universally Unique starts now. Hello, this is Dr. Lori, and today my guest is Andrew Arboe. Andrew will be sharing with us his experiences as an autistic self-advocate and speaker and living as an individual who is neurodiverse. We're going to take a few breaths as we consistently have, and then we're going to jump right into a question for Andrew. So what we'll do is we'll do 3 box breaths. We're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, breathe in for 4. And I'll count for us just so that we're all kind of on the same page, so to speak. So we're going to breathe in, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe out, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe in, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe out, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe in, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe out, 3, 2, 1, and we're finished. And hopefully everyone feels just a moment of relaxation. So Andrew, what I'd like to start with is if you could maybe give us a little bit of an overview of your life. I think as one gets further and further away from the developmental years, there's more and more parts to it. But maybe give us a little short summary of school and kind of where you are now and what your experiences have been like.
Well, dude, this probably be a little challenge because I've cried a bit in 42 years. But basically, I kind of moved between different schools. I was nonverbal. I had speech and OT growing up. Eventually went to a mainstream process. I still went to special ed classes like they call it job readiness and consumer math in the Fountain School area district. And I went to a transition program. It was back when it was age 21 in Connecticut for listeners. I aged out, dealt with Connecticut's on and off approach with services, and I decided to take my own charge and went into a field that most people don't expect. People don't expect autistic to join, and I'm very lax with language. I don't stress about language. I went to MCC, Manchester Community College, for my associate's disability specialist program. I really got into the disability field. I worked in several places, including a couple schools, Plainville schools, and I currently work at Focus Center for Autism, Fresh Start School. I'm a direct care worker, and last year I got my psych degree. So I've been bouncing a lot of different experiences, and I've became a public speaker. I've always been a public speaker for the last couple of years. The last couple of years after I went for a big job change that led me into being with Focus, I decided to want to put all of it and have kind of worked on getting my work identity back. So that kind of came to public speaking and me just kind of being larger in life. And I could go so on details, but I'm sure the questions will tackle that as we go. I think that's not too bad for 42 years on the spot.
Yeah, you condensed that quite a bit. Tell me, how old were you when you started to speak?
Oh, I want to say maybe 5 to 6. I guess some of my memories of the school was kind of vague. I just remember very specific moments. And with anything, and probably because I'm that generation, I'm a Nintendo kid. Like I've always been a gamer. Like I am
Yeah.
not shy on my pages. There, like I'm a type that if it makes a connection to, let's say, if anyone I'm working with, I absolutely would use it. Like I've always had like different like video games to play a lot of Japanese role-playing games like Final Fantasy, Pokemon, and a bunch of other series I can name drop. I just like it for like the storytelling themes, and it just connects a lot of people. Like I've actually done within Focus, I've done some Pokemon stuff for people, which I never thought I'll be doing, but it was kind of cool how that happened. All
Yeah.
because I was a '90s kid. I grew up when Pokemon was the craze, was like you can't run away from Pokemon. And I like to wear that as a badge when I introduced it when I talk to like really young parents, kids. And it just, when it makes sense, of course. Like there wasn't anything Pokemon going on. Like I like to wear that as like a badge of honor. Like I was there in the late '90s playing that.
I was there at the
But I was
beginning.
pretty much that.
Yeah.
I was in that, and I just grew up with a lot of Nintendo games, like Nintendo 64. I was around that time, so I was like, my head was into there. Apparently, I still have access to all my old records. I have no idea why my dad decided to not pull them out, and I'm also kind of lucky I have those because I'm actually doing. I kind of attempting a new speaking topic on my experiences, my journey in special education. We'll
Wow.
see if I can get see if I get a conference interested in that. Just kind of like the things that went really well in my perspective as a student, what could be done better without me bashing Connecticut in terms of after special education, like age 22.
Yeah. And unfortunately, after age 22, which is now the end of
Yeah.
school age, many people struggle with getting services, especially autistic individuals who don't need services that for
Hmm.
people who are intellectually disabled, you're like in that funny place in between, and they've started to have services, but there's not nearly enough. Um,
Yeah, but without me sounding like I'm completely bashing Connecticut in this podcast, I think this is a nationwide or just more
it
local
is. Yeah.
podcast. Without me bashing Connecticut completely, it will take time.
Yeah.
Like I like one of my original accuracy wasn't just autism. I used to be big in the driver readiness department, and still am. Like if you go
Yeah.
on my website, like I used to work with the next street on their autism projects
Okay.
before let's just say partnerships didn't work out, wasn't really them, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
complicated story, and that's why I do a speaking topic on online businesses.
No,
Yeah,
I think
because I've
that's a
dealt
great
dealt with
topic.
some unfortunate environments in one of my past jobs, not focus, but it was like one of my past jobs. It didn't work out, but I'm still very friendly towards the next street and anyone else I connected from my driving days. Like I was doing driver talks and just ended up being this powerful thing, and I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of public speaking if it wasn't for the driving topic. And
Oh,
it still
good.
is. Like I have a database I like to connect to different resources. It's like one of those take time, or I'm a type to kind of go doer, and also I always like to be, like directly working with people. That's always been my actually style. Nothing wrong with the federal, and because there's so much going on, like I talked to like a reporter yesterday, was talking about all the federal whatever,
All the cuts,
whatever.
all the cuts that
Yes,
made my heart stop.
that and the autism stuff that I'm still scratching my brain. But I also kind of mentioned it like it's kind of like they intentionally, maybe not intentional. I don't want to not political, but it's like I wonder if it's on purpose just to distract people. Like I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just some of the stuff you hear autism is just kind of absurd. I feel like they're doing that on purpose. But I've
Yeah, I
always
mean,
been,
I
but
I
yeah, sorry,
understand why
I'm
you
over
would think
talking.
that. Yeah. I've been
But
in the
that's not
field for a long time. I've seen a lot of really strange things that people have said, very random, very odd things like, oh, if you did this or you did that, or I don't know, you stood in on this spot on this day when the sun was at this height, this is what would happen to you. And if I think mostly it frightens parents. And I'm sure it frightens individuals as well, but maybe potentially even more parents because they think that they did something and we got past the you did something,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you
I'm
know.
sorry about interrupting. You could tell me, direct me to let you
That's okay.
because
That's all right.
my school
I
has to
want
deal with that
you
a lot.
I want you to get to say as much as you want, but
But this, I'm sorry, go
I
on ahead.
remember when I first started in the field, some of the early work that we saw that had been debunked, but that was still, was still there and referenced as being incorrect, was the whole idea of refrigerator mothers and the idea
Yeah.
that your mother was cold, so you got a baby who didn't want to bond with you. And I mean, I'm sure there's thousands of women from a generation of, you know, children that are probably like in their 60s and 70s at this point who felt absolutely horrible that they did something and they didn't love their baby the right way.
Whew. Definitely
Yeah.
quite a rabbit hole and definitely show the changing things. And I want to get back to the question without kind of going too into
Yeah.
the
No,
rabbit
that's
hole.
okay.
But yeah, but basically it takes time and like you said, and I will connect it to what you just said as well. It just take a lot of challenges like perception changes. And I'm actually
Yeah.
hoping, and I can't control people for obvious reasons,
No.
you or me, but I'm hoping more people can get more nuance or accept more nuance because yep, and in my accuracy, I kind of headed butts, so kind of like ran into some people that didn't agree or there's and people get really picky on rain shoes when at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. It's this cool resource that
Yeah.
I did a part of. It's like, yeah, but I always like to tell this story. Like I did an ebook with the Next Street, and I actually I had online activists bashing it because he used person first with fingers, and I'm an autistic. I did a good part of the writing there.
Yeah.
I also had ASRC or Autism Services and Resources Connecticut's old director who also did editing and pusher editing too. So it was a collaborative effort. Some of the struggles. So yep. So I'm pretty opinionated. I stay away from certain topics like the plague because it just does not end well in the online communities. But I'm always like a type of nuance. Like I like to read new things and get new experiences. So the stuff I'm doing with Focus and my other contracting jobs is always welcome and kind of get me more to work with as I kind of get myself to the next steps of my ever increasingly diverse pathways. I'm still freaked out on what kind of next steps I'm gonna be doing because you said it yourself in my one of our first meetings is that page could definitely be a bunch.
Yeah, you've got a lot,
And
you have a
I
variety of
agree.
things going on. Yeah. Uh, I think things come to you as they need to too. And I mean, what you were doing 10 years ago is certainly different, and what we need right now is different. And I sort of caught in the middle of that person first language and using, language that folks like. And my
Mhm,
approach to that at this point is you tell me how you want me to refer to
mhm,
you. Do you want me to, maybe the person says, I would like to be referred to as autistic. And somebody else might say, I want to be referred to as a person with autism because I want you to
mhm,
think of me in this other way. And I think that's our best approach, like,
mhm.
do you want me to call you Andrew? Do you want me to call you Andy? Do you want me to call you Drew? Is to me
I'm sorry.
in the
I had
same
someone that gives
spirit,
me that nickname.
in the same spirit
Sorry.
of how would you like me to refer to your neurodiversity? Like, I will continue to call you Andrew because I believe that's the way that you like it. But you don't know what people want unless you ask. And I think that if we
Mhm,
look at people one person at a time, which I think is really what we need to do, then
mhm.
we know what the right thing
Yep.
is.
Yep. I
So,
agree.
yeah. So I want you to give me kind of an idea of maybe things that have gone on in your life, maybe some events that have really strongly impacted you and really finding your way to who you've become at this point. Are there people who have been really part of your development that you think, oh, that person really helped me a lot in that situation? Or maybe somebody who didn't really help you very much but kind of pushed you to think about things differently and to be more resourceful of yourself.
Ooh, I've seen a lot, and because this is a 30-minute podcast, I'm gonna have to condense this. I guess I can put it down the people that really helped me a lot. My dad. My dad went through a lot of struggles to raise me and my brother, so that's the easiest, definitely the easiest one I could say. I'm still really thankful for him. And I have a bunch of advocates. I'm always bunch of advocates, both professionals, parents, and self-advocates. I'm always really appreciative of. I could go on all day. Like I have like several I'm really thankful of. Or maybe I don't have to say it because it will take way too long. But I'm like friends with a lot of different organizations. And I can also include Focus Center for Autism, just
Yeah,
because they helped me out after they kind of took me in. I also went and interviewed for them. I was left after a really bad job situation. I used to run in my page, you could find it as Driving with Autism. I used to run an online program and
yep,
it was kind of falling apart. Like the writing was on the wall.
yep.
And one of my original bosses or slash advisor, who was part of the plan across the spectrum, a financial firm that used to do like autistic work in the financial realm. Before that, this rep was kind of being pretty abrasive, so I had to make a choice of do I let this program go, which wasn't working. Just it was too niche. Like I can name drop all that, but I'm not here to kind of
Yeah,
bash.
no, of course.
But I kind of made a choice, and that kind of always changed it. And kind of now just been health because COVID and like seeing the people change around you health wise, and it's like making me always that I've always been told, my group home job, like some of the yeah, my group home job tells me I'm a freak of nature. Just as some of my eating habits. Oh, see something there.
What do
Because I have
you,
such a metabolism and yeah, so I've always been thinking about my health, and especially I just saw my PCP, so that got me thinking how much more fruit because I've never been a fruit eater, and it took me a while to eat spinach, and because of my transition program, I actually started to eat salad. So it's been like a slowly getting there, and then just seeing if it's not too late for me. I mean, I was a big soda drinker, and then I switched that to coffee, which ended up being a better choice, especially seeing my blood work results. But it's like one of those like a lot of different like events. I've been thinking more what's best for me and my health, where I
yeah,
could
no,
give away
that's
my
excellent.
metabolism,
Yeah.
and since I did saw a message there, I'm gonna try to keep it concrete. But those are some like main examples, but it's always just whenever I post something on my social media, on especially on my brand page, like I always like to type up stuff that really means a lot. Like each topic kind of represents a time where I get kind of inspired, I wanted to write about.
Yeah.
And because I'm in that line between professional and self-advocate and then mid it's actually three parts of the line.
Yeah.
It's just kind of I always get a lot to think about. And then I've
Well, it's
always
hard
had
to
I'm
separate.
sorry.
I mean, you are an autistic individual, so
Hmm.
you can't leave that at the door and go, well, I'm not going to worry about that when I go to work because that's who you are and that you bring that to every situation that you're in, which I think is to a great advantage to the people who have employed you, that you bring your own personal experiences that you can share with them that hopefully will help them to try to understand some of the other people that they're working with, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I know
And
there's
but
that expression, you know, once you've met one autistic
yep,
person, you've
Stephen
met one
Shore, met him,
autistic
he's a cool
person.
guy.
But in my own personal experience, having met many, many people with autism, there are certainly some similarities, and there are some things that if I learn something from one person, I might see if that might be useful for somebody else. Um, Not because it has to be, because, oh, somebody with autism told me to do that. It could be, oh, that person has similar interests. Maybe they would like this same thing. Um,
Mhm.
so tell me, I think that you are a super busy person. And you said something about video games. So is that your kind of primary way to sort of unwind and relax?
Yep, I have several, but I've always been big into RPGs. And Ekman usually call them JRPGs. Just like the type of storytelling, when a game clicks with you, it clicks really well. And I'm a type where I always like to go over the story and themes and how kind of gameplay, story, and music, especially music, can all kind of create depth. Like closest thing to a perfect marriage. Some games may not be entirely perfect, but when it gets it right, it gets it right because I kind of owe it to some games kind of being there for me after each like change. Like I remember like aging out, like I played this particular series. the Near series, which I'm a huge fan. I totally did went to LA for a concert a year and a half ago because I just love the themes of like the changes and like realizing kind of the nuance of like why are people doing the things they're doing. That
Mhm.
series does a really great job going into that. And then
Oh,
a recent video game that I'm big and I've been listening to its French vocals like crazy. It's called Clear Obscure Expedition Free. Like that game is a mate. That game is just awesome. And that like it's kind of simple. People age, and after a while, when they get to each certain age, they die. When this gardenist, like the paintress, paints a new number, so anyone that's like age 34 pretty much dies, and how these expeditors have to defeat that. And it kind of goes into like it goes much deeper, and you realize there's a big web behind it, and it really deals with grief, addiction, letting go. Like the game is doing
wow.
such a good job, like it making me reflect on my own habits
Wow, that's
because it
really
kind of goes
cool.
into how kind of the healing power of art, but also what happens when it traps you and how you handle grief. Because the game does a great job of telling you that there's no one way, but I don't want to spoil it entirely because but that's kind of the type of experiences like I kind of would die for. Like I love it when the games have me hooked up and I can use it professionally because I've mentioned video games several a bunch of times in my presentations when appropriate, when it makes
Yep.
sense. Because there's such a power there, and I've always been inspired by a true life autism story, Life Animated, which is about a kid, now adult Owen, who uses Disney movies to connect to the
Hmm.
world. That
Yep.
always stuck out to me, and realizing there's a lot of similarities of like how media can both empower, but technically could, I don't want to say trap because I can't speak today. Escapism can be bad for anyone. Whether
Yeah.
you don't have your own like boundaries or like, okay, as much as I love video games, I got to sleep so I can go to my job and
No,
I can be
that's
awake
yeah.
for my students, for example. But
Yeah.
those experiences, like I like craving that. And like if I can learn something cool, when I find the games that can just do it right, I'm able to kind of apply it in some form. Of course, I won't be finding God tomorrow or
But,
find like a new brand new rand out there. But it's like taking in the themes and like showing like, hey, tomorrow comes, I got this. It's another
yeah.
day. Like those type of things I've always admired about the games. And I'll probably see myself playing until I'm getting really old and probably will pass away at some point.
Well, I like the fact that you're sharing, and I really don't know a whole lot about video games, but
Oh
the
yeah, hopefully I
ones
didn't fool you a
no,
bunch
no,
because
that's
I've
no,
been part of this for years.
you gave me enough information to understand though that they're story based and that there's more to it than, just the we shoot people and they die kind of things that are like
Yeah, and there's
in a lot
nothing
of other
upside.
video games. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
go ahead.
good.
Yeah,
No.
there's nothing wrong with those type of games. I always like I don't want to say a mindless game, but like a game that kind of challenges, like Super Mario, like the jumping and the platforms. That can be
Yeah.
challenging. Nothing wrong with those. I
Yeah.
just happen to get a good affinity to the Japanese role-playing games.
Yeah.
And those can be challenging. Like Expedition 30 Feet, that gameplay is challenging because you have to kind of mirror, kind of parry attacks. Like you have to kind of pinpoint the exact moment when this sword reaches to one of your characters and
Wow.
try to take advantage of like high risk, high rewards. So there's a bit of challenge in there. And
But
they got different type of video games. I always admire that about the diversity of games. Like there can be so many different things that could apply to people. How
oh
I
yeah,
use it,
there's lots.
and
Yeah.
it can be addicting. So again, kind of know yourself and see what makes sense and know if you need to step out for a while.
I think that's
Kind
key
of like
too.
with movies and
Yeah.
books, especially like any of those media. And I overtalk you, but sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Especially we have 5 minutes
No,
left.
I think it's really easy for many autistic individuals to find a way to sort of just cocoon themselves in and not be able to be out. And I think some people are just naturally people who want to be sort of in a more, individual situation or a small situation. But there's also times that you need to be out and in the world and engaged with other people.
Mhm,
So, I think finding that balance can be tricky. Um,
mhm.
so what are you looking forward to? What do you have in the future that you're thinking about or something that you'd like to try or do?
Ooh, a lot. Like I'm trying to figure out my next steps going forward. not trying to fix around an outline can be tricky because I'm
Mhm.
a type of like I need like projects, something cool. But yesterday I kind of redid parts of my website.
Okay.
And I could see myself joining a few other boards. Like I'm actually trying out on next steps, like a parent leadership training, like a
Mhm.
training through CPEC, the
Okay.
Connecticut Parent Advocacy
Yep.
Center. I was
That's
supposed to do it
great.
a year ago, but circumstances I wasn't able to. So hopefully there won't be any issues this first, and I can get started with that. And
That
then
sounds
just keep
wonderful.
being connected, like I want to keep showing up conferences as much as I can, and I want to at least volunteer for one or two. But as long as my school's okay with it, I always go to them for everything. Like I'll be going to a kind of like going to a conference that they're fine with me kind of going into next month. That I could kind of just show off kind of anything new I learned. And I'll, me and Focus can attest to that. I love I love hooking them up with new stuff and new information, new places that I find out because it can kind of help them out. And they're a place that really deserves all the positive vibes. And I can't wait for their fundraiser in November at Jay Timothy's.
Oh,
I'm
it's at
gonna
J. Timothy's.
Yeah,
Ah,
on the 7th for those that are in Connecticut.
yeah.
I mean, this may
Well,
not apply to anyone outside,
this
but
is a good wing place in Connecticut, right? Isn't
oh
that what
yes,
they're
yes,
known for?
boneless wings. I can't do bones like a sensory thing. Like I
It's a
can't do
sensory thing.
mushrooms, and I discovered I like hot sauce. So, but
Wow,
I've ate there
impressive.
before, and I want to yeah, just want to enjoy the time and because I've already worked there, I kind of paid for that fundraiser. I just want to be there and while I tend to work Fridays, I figured it wouldn't hurt to enjoy the evening and also a fundraiser. But yeah,
Well, you take a
I
day
think there's
off
still
and go to a
tickets.
fundraiser. Yeah, no, that sounds good.
At least on my other job, I can't take it off at school because that makes no sense. And also, the person will fire me if I do that at the school side.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they very much appreciate when you go off to conferences and you bring information back. I think one of the really wonderful things that's happening within autism as a whole is there's lots more information out there.
Hmm. Agreed.
There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of places for folks to connect. I mean, I've been doing this for a really, really long time, and there were very, very few resources when I started. So it's very exciting that you're able to bring those things back. Andrew, unfortunately, we have about 30 seconds left, maybe
Man,
not even that much, right? You and I could probably talk for another couple of days, and maybe we will
yeah,
again in
yeah.
the future. But I very much appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about yourself. I have put some information up that connects folks to your website, so you may find a
Thank
few
you.
people gravitate towards your website and connect with you in that way. But I very much appreciate you volunteering to come in and visit with me. And I wish you the best of luck in the future, and hopefully we will have an opportunity to meet in person at some point in time since
Email me.
we
I
have
can
a
do
number of
coffee.
connections. Yeah, and we can meet for coffee because we like coffee, and coffee is right around the
Yep, I
corner
travel
from where
around
you work.
Connecticut. Connecticut's a piece of cake, so
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I very much appreciate you
mhm.
being
Thank
here,
you.
and I'm very excited to hear about things that go on with you in the future.
Mhm. Again, thank you for having me on here. And if anything, I have a cute German Shepherd on my page and social media. So if let's say if no one wants to take a look on my other pages, but I do encourage it. I do have a
Okay.
German Shepherd who is absolutely adorable, and I would do so much for him.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
Sky, got
I
Sky
would
the
do
puppy.
anything. I would do pretty much anything for my dogs as well. So I certainly understand that. Thank you for listening to Universally Unique, exploring the neurodiverse world of the extraordinary. Join me, Dr. Lori, on Transformation Talk Radio every second and fourth Monday at 11:30 Pacific Time as we continue to explore navigating a world not designed for diversity. For advocacy and support for individuals with disabilities, let's connect. Learn more about consulting and life coaching at notoholisticconsulting.com.